Hi, everybody. It's me, Dee Dee. So, I have become increasingly disillusioned over the years of my life. I'm going to start at the beginning and I'm going to go over each belief system, if you will, church, belief system, group, whatever, that I can remember, and why I say I've been disillusioned. Feel free to chime in if you will. That's fine. Um, I'm also making dinner, so I may have to stop in between and check on my bean burgers because I got some burgers in there just waiting for me to dig in. Anyway, so let's start with the very first place I ever went to, religious wise or belief wise, would be the Catholic Church. So, I was raised as a Catholic, born and raised as a Catholic, baptized when I was a baby, like many of the Catholic babies are. Made many of the sacraments, the communion, the confession, sacrament of the Eucharist, and all that stuff. So when I turned 16, I did some research and found out a lot of the discrepancies that I now hold against that belief system, such as the Pope with the upside down cross on his seat that he sits on, the dilapidated crucifix that he holds, which is satanic. I could go on and on. I'm not trying to bash Catholics because I don't believe every Catholic is going to hell because they're Catholic. Not by any means. That's between you and the Creator. Not up to me to say that, and I would never. Anyway, when I started learning, things about that, and I remember one of the first things that ever happened was my mom got divorced, and they told me my mom was going to hell because she got divorced and remarried. That was totally against their beliefs. That caused a lot of problems. I'm sure more for my mom than me because I think I was young enough that I didn't really understand a lot of that stuff. But yeah, that was probably my first discrepancy, I guess. Being in a church was, why are they being so mean to my mom, for her choice to remarry? But they were like that. I don't really know all of it. I don't know all of what they said to her or anything. I just remember that was the first instance I remember where the church that a lot of people see churches as almost flawless. Well, that was the first flaw, I guess, that I encountered in my young age and don't really remember much about it. Anyway, from there, I went to Messianic Jewish church, which was like a slash Christian church. So during the week, not the week, during the weekend, on Saturday night would be the Shabbat service for the Messianic Jewish people. And then on Sunday would be the Christian service for the born again Christians. And I mostly went to the Christian service back when I was like the teenager when I first discovered the place. So I didn't really know much about Messianic Judaism. The only thing I remember when I went to that church was my one friend, my best friend Carol. Yes, I named my oldest daughter after her. She basically was an addict. She was addicted to drugs and alcohol and stuff. Hold on, my phone's going off here and I did not click that. Drugs and alcohol, and she would come into church high most of the time. And I remember like the pastors, they were twin brothers, and they would try to maneuver around her being there. They were uncomfortable with her presence. I remember that. And I just remember thinking, why don't these people reach out to her and help her? What can be done to save her from this lifestyle that she's living? She was being very, I don't know if she was abused or neglected or maybe both in her household, but she clearly was not being treated right to be, getting into the things that she was. And I didn't really know her whole life story or anything. I just remember they kind of were acting real funny around her all the time, which kind of threw me off because I was like, well, this is like, these are Christian people, supposed to be Bible people. Why are they not helping her? So that was my second instance of disillusionment, I guess, in that church. So I've been to many, many churches. I've been to Baptist church. I went to a cult at one point that I didn't know was a cult till I got in there and I ran out of there. That was where they were doing what's called the Spirit of Travail. What that means is there's literally people laying on the ground, young and old, all ages, shapes, and sizes, wailing, like wailing, really wailing, travailing. That's what it's called. I had never heard of such a thing, but I remember I went there with my one daughter and we checked it out, and I grabbed her hand and I'm like, let's get out of here. It was just really weird to me, very uncomfortable. So, yeah, that was a little bit disillusioning. Um, and I think when I did go to that church, because I went a few times, I think I ended up getting baptized at one point at that church. Because I've been baptized several times too, believe it or not. So that was one of them. There was another church I went to at one point they called it The Bread. It was The Bread of Life was the name of the church. And that was very eye-opening. Because what they did was they would put people into positions that they were truly not qualified for and not wanting to be in, and they would force them into them by flattering them and saying, oh, well, you're just a great preacher, and we've heard you and we love your witness and whatever. And those people would be like forced into these high positions that they were truly uncomfortable in and should have never been put in, but they were put there, and they had to kind of sink or swim. And it caused a lot of division in the church because people could clearly see, this person isn't called to this, and you're wanting to elevate them to this position, but this is not where they belong. So yeah, that was pretty disillusioning as well for me. I did get baptized in that church as well, believe it or not. Like I said, I got baptized in like 4 or 5 different churches, 3 or 4, I don't know, a lot of them. I've always wanted to belong, and I think that's why I did the whole baptism thing over and over again, because it made me feel like I was part of something. And then that something I was part of didn't make sense to me anymore, and I would leave. So anyhow, Assemblies of God, been to a few of those. Um, I won't get into all the details on that. I've gotten into it in the past, and it came back and bit me in the butt. But suffice it to say, I was not well treated in one of them, actually a couple of them, and that did not go well. I was rejected by the pastor and by the pastor's wife in the one church, and the other church just flat out booted me. So obviously very disillusioning, feeling like, well, you're supposed to be my family, but you're disowning me and rejecting me, type of thing. And then let's see what else. I got into the Word of Faith Church. Y'all know about that. The disillusioning thing with that was probably where certain people were like favoritized, if that's a word. Favoritism was shown to them, and they were allowed behind closed doors to pray over people, and I had the doors shut in my face too many times. That was disillusioning to me. I didn't understand, why can't I be in there too? And nobody bothered to explain it to me. So that was pretty cruel. I don't think anybody enjoys feeling rejected or shut out from something. And I think a church of all places should not be shutting people out, making them feel shunned, even for a moment. Okay, let's talk about, I think recently I'll talk about stuff, because I did go to like a congregational church for a while. In fact, I got married in a congregational church to my first husband. That was more similar to like a Baptist or maybe a Free Will Baptist church. I don't know if it's similar, but kind of conservative like that. Where I believed in speaking in tongues and healing and all the things the Assembly of God church taught that I had just come from. And they wanted to refute it with me. And they went out of the house to talk about it. And I told my husband at the time, I said, Roland, I'm standing my ground. This is what I believe. And that's just how it is. And I'll tell these guys what I've experienced and the miracles that I've seen. And then, the Lord judge between me and thee, type of thing. So I remember hearing them say, well, Roland, who are we to say that what she believes isn't true? And so I basically had them walking out, shaking their heads, and they just kind of said, you're welcome back anytime you want to come. They didn't know what to tell me, because what I said made them think, well, maybe it's true. Maybe somebody can be healed. Maybe miracles do still happen today, even though that wasn't their belief system. It just kind of made them wonder, well, maybe she's got a point. So that was pretty cool. But it was kind of disillusioning because it's hard when you know what you know and other people just want to fight you on it and tell you you're wrong. And there's absolutely no way what you believe could be possible. That was hard for me. Okay, so let's see, where else can I go with this? These are my personal experiences. I am still going to do my birth on up life thing that I said I was going to do. I also want to get back into making more videos on narcissistic personality disorder. What I think I'm going to do is just start from the beginning and start with the definition of what is narcissism, how does it happen, maybe some examples of it, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm still praying about it and trying to seek God on what direction to go because I'm very limited on time anymore. I'm super busy doing stuff. And I'm not just saying that because, a lot of narcissistic people always say, well, I'm busy doing this and that, and they're really not. They just need to appear busy because it makes them feel important. I'm literally busy. I really am. I got a lot going on right now. Okay, so, where were we go? So Matthew and I had this church. I can tell you the name of it because it no longer exists. It was called Upward. And Upward was an awesome church. I miss it a lot all the time. I wish that guy would come back and restart it all the time, like some kind of miracle would happen and he'd move back here to the area I live in. But he had to leave because his daughter was very, very ill and their specialists lived in the state they came from. I think it was Alabama or something like that. I can't remember, South Carolina. But while he was here, he had a clothing pantry, he had a food pantry. We were just starting to know people in the area that were coming to the church because they were looking for a place that would accept all kinds of people. And these were a lot of very poor people. And, they were just good-hearted people, but they had a lot of hard times they were dealing with. And the pastor was a really good preacher. He was interesting. Hey, fur baby. So we missed it when he finally told us, this is going to be our last day and our last week and whatever. We got to go back home, but we'll be back. We're just going to close on our house and get things settled there, and we'll come back and finish when we get back. He never came back. He started the church on Facebook, and people just gradually fell away. We fell away. We were bored. We were like, this isn't even the same. Hey, Lucky, how are you? I see you have a wrench, so I obviously don't know who you used to be, and you changed your name, but okay. It's all good. Anyhow, so that was disillusioning to both of us. I mean, that was our church, our first church that we ever agreed on and went to together on a regular basis that we really liked and were really starting to enjoy. And poof, it was taken from us just that fast. That was awful. I don't think I've still gotten over that. It's just really sad to me. So, from there, I'm trying to think of all the churches we've been to since Upward closed. Wow. We've been to a church that has like 3 different sections, like 3 different churches, but all the same belief system pretty much. One was a black church with black people. We were the only white faces there, which was fine. And the other one was a Mexican run church, which again, we weren't the only white faces there, but, and that was fine. I'm not racist by any means. I'm just describing what the people look like. That's all. I don't have anything against the people for their color of their skin or their race or where they came from by any means. Okay. Gotcha, Lucky. Understood. That makes sense. Now I know who you are. Oh boy. Anyhow, yeah, you don't need to be confused with that craziness. So we went, yeah, that's a good idea. I would retract too. From there, we went to those 3 churches. The one church, which really disillusioned both of us again, was really pushing this whole idea that they needed to raise all this money to build onto the church and have this special room for the kids. And It was kind of like, that's not what the church is about. The church is about meeting the needs of people that are struggling. And yeah, I know a lot of people are probably like, well, yeah, you guys are moochers and e-beggars anyway, so of course that's what you would want in a church. No, we're not the only ones that are struggling. We live in a very poor area. And there are people that are homeless living on our streets, not our streets, but streets around here. And they're struggling to eat. And not because they're lazy or can't get a job or, whatever. It's just, it's hard. The economy's hard. And Matthew honestly was the first person that said to me, why would they not take extra money, raise extra money, and help the people that need it? Why would they? Thank you, Lucky. Why on earth would they want to build onto a building that they don't need to build anything onto? There's not even enough people filling the seats, and they want to expand this church. So that was very disillusioning. We ended up leaving because of that, and that's when we started going to the other version of the church run by the black minister, and that was nice and everything. But I don't know. We didn't stay there. We didn't feel led to stay there. From there, where did we go from there? I can't really remember. We've been to so many churches, I don't know. We're always searching, and never finding. So the church that we went to next, I still go there for the ladies group, but we went to the service a few times, and then they started preaching about Revelations, and my husband really didn't enjoy hearing that, and I kind of didn't either. And the whole thrust of the matter was, are you willing to die? Raise your hand, not really raise your hand, but, answer that question. Are you willing? Are you willing to die? Are you willing to give up your life? And I'm sorry, but my belief is that he died for us so we don't have to suffer and die. I'm not saying nobody ever does. I'm sure in other countries it happens on a regular basis. I'm not called to be a martyr that I know of, and I don't like thinking about that. So yeah, I didn't stay for that. I think we stayed for like a few of them, and then it might have been like his last one that we didn't hear, or maybe we left right when he took a break from it. It just wasn't our thing. And it wasn't just that. There's other things about it that we just don't agree with. I love the ladies group. I don't agree with everything there either, but I'm learning a lot of stuff and a whole different way of looking at people, which is really helpful for me. It's kind of made me a humbler person, I think, than I was before I started going, which can only be a good thing. So we also started going to another church. It's a smaller church, and it meets in a home, and it's pretty nice. We can actually sit there and color in our coloring books if we want during the sermon. The sermon is very down to earth. It's very practical. It's just kind of it's a nice sermon, I guess I would say. It's all about being kind to others, accepting everybody. And yes, that means same gender, different belief systems, whatever, all are welcome there. Literally, all are welcome there. So we haven't really encountered anything that I would say was uncomfortable or, contrary to what we stand for or anything. But if we did, we understand that same gender relationship people can be ministers in this place. My husband said he's fine with it. I'm not necessarily fine with it. I don't think I would sit under somebody that was preaching that was in that sort of situation. I just wouldn't. It goes against everything I stand for. Doesn't mean that I would have a problem with them coming and being there or being with them. I don't know that I would take communion if that was the case. I don't think I would feel comfortable because I don't think my heart would be right to be doing that at that point. I don't know. We'll see when it happens, if it happens. So we've been going there for like the past few weeks and sometimes going back to the other place. And now, okay, this one is, so there's no disillusionment going on there. They flat out tell you, we believe in this. And you can go to their website and they state it right on there, what they believe. They're pro a lot of things I'm very anti. And they know I'm anti, but I try to be as accepting and kind to people as I can, whether I believe the way they do or not. Okay, so the current situation is that our former Messianic pastor got back with us and wanted to invite us to come and see him again. He's no longer at the bigger building where he was. He started his own thing out of his home, and he invited us to come. We're probably going to stay in a hotel when we do that overnight, because I don't drive well in the dark. It's too dangerous for me. So that's the plan. And we wanted to stay in a hotel anyway before the summer was completely over, and we didn't get to. So this is our chance to go out and just kind of hang out in a hotel room for once. So that's what we're planning on doing soon. And what disillusioned me about this was, and it's not disillusioned in a bad way, it's just kind of like my eyes are sort of open, I guess. It's kind of interesting when you come from a church that people are falling in the aisles and praying in tongues and getting healed and miracles are happening, and then you go to a church that says all that stuff died out when the apostles, came. That was the last time we ever heard of that. That's the last time that ever happened. It doesn't happen anymore now. Okay, so then there's that one disillusionment, like, okay, well, I'm in a place that just does not see eye to eye with the way I believe, but you stay there because you're trying to be kind to people and, be accepting and whatever, I guess. Plus, I wanted my husband comfortable, and he doesn't understand all that stuff about tongues and whatever. That's more my thing than his. And then you go to a church that is trying to make you a martyr, and you're like, no, I'm not going to die. I'm not planning on any of that happening. I try to avoid that at all costs. And now we're going back to a church that I just got done listening to some of the preaching from it. And okay, you guys may or may not remember when I went to Shalom Assembly years ago. It was a Hebrew roots church, where kind of Messianic Jewish. It's a little bit of a fringe group off of the Messianic Jewish, where they literally live out what they believe. So we stayed in tents for like however many days. They killed actual lambs for sacrifice. They take it to a whole other literal level. I was not around when they killed lambs, because I would not be part of that. I would not watch that. Ugh. I don't think I even ate the lamb when they put it out on the plate. I didn't touch it. I'm really not a conformist either, Lucky. Not really. I mean, I conform to some things only by my choice, which isn't really conforming. So I'm a free spirit. I kind of have a mishmash of beliefs, and I come and go as I please and don't really care what anybody thinks of it. Anyway, so, and of course, all the churches have a problem. Why won't you just stay here? Why do you go and visit other churches? Because I'm me and I can. Because freedom of religion. Because I like to. Because I like seeing different people, learning different things. I'm slightly bipolar, cyclothymic, so I don't stay in any one place very long. I try to stay, at the important places like jobs and such for longer, obviously. But like churches and stuff, that's a belief system. I can come and go. It doesn't bother me any. Anyhow, so I was listening to the preaching, and basically now that whole Feast of Tabernacles things that we did, that where we stayed out in tents and I got sick and ended up in the hospital because I was out in the cold and the wet and the rain and everything, because it's like in October where it is cold and rainy and dark, and yeah. They don't do that anymore. Now they're teaching that because Jesus set up the tabernacle and said to practice these feasts in Jerusalem only, that now we are not supposed to practice the feasts. So I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, this was the same pastor that had us stay in the tent for however many days, and now he's saying, nope, we don't do that anymore, because Jesus said only in Jerusalem. So if we do that, we're disobeying and we're doing our own thing. So again, I'm disillusioned. So at this point, the only thing that's steady for me is my one-on-one relationship with my Creator. That's the safest place for me to be right now, because I am not sure what's going on. It's so weird how even in one church, as time goes on, it changes, like really drastically sometimes. And you're just like, whoa, okay, 10 years ago, we were rolling in the aisles, everybody was happy to be here, and now it's all politically based and nothing makes sense. So, yeah, time changes things. People change with time, people leave. Everything is always changing. The only thing that ever stays the same is my relationship with Creator. That's it. So, not saying I don't have beliefs of other places. I do have some. I have a mishmash, like I said, but I'm very disillusioned by so many things right now. And, for years, I grew up in a world where everything was so cut and dry compared to the um, open mindedness, you might say, of accepting everything as being okay and everybody's right. And this is all very disillusioning to me. I'm very, very bewildered by the world as it stands today. So, yeah, that's where I'm at on the, if you want to say, religious aspect of things. Um, I am as, I guess, flip floppy, disillusioned, whatever, with my, not my beliefs, but with beliefs, other beliefs, as I could be, as much as I am with the foods I eat. Because again, I have changed yet again. Now I'm, well, not really. I'm doing whole food plant based for the most part. I don't know if I'm giving up meat. I haven't decided. But the more I hear about the damage that meat can do in the body, the more I want to veer away from it, to be honest with you. Plus, my body does not handle meat or animal products very well. So, my aim, I'm making it very simple for myself. I am going to try to eat at least 30 vegetables a week. Not tons of amounts and servings of them, but 30 different vegetables, including herbs. So it could be vegetables like mushrooms, peppers, corn, whatever. The more of a rainbow that you eat of vegetables, the healthier it is for your microbiome, which is your gut, which controls so many things in your life. So that's pretty much what I'm focused on at this point. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Lucky. I am pretty happy about it too. So, about the kitty cats, we still have 5 of them. I think we're keeping 5 of them at the rate things are going. Bobo just got treated for ticks and fleas because I pulled 2 ticks off of him this couple of days, and he's been in the house and still seeing ticks. So, hi, Sweet Wheat. Yes, G bombs. Woo! All the way, girl. All the way, G bombs. Yep. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms. What's the other B and S? I forget. Oh, the interview went well. I won't know anything till Tuesday. I will let you know as soon as I know. I always forget what the G bomb stands for. I have it written down somewhere here. See if I can find it. Where is the G bomb thing? Because I would like to tell y'all what G bombs are. I just can't remember what the acronym stands for. I do know that people in society do not. There we go. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries. Yes. And seeds. I think the S is for seeds. And it's seeds. We don't eat enough of those as a society, and that is why I think a lot of the diseases happen. So, yeah. Anywho, that's pretty much what is on my mind at the moment. If you will excuse me for just a second, I need to go and check on my bean burgers. Hi, Bobo Man. Hey, Bowie. Are you hungry, buddy? Here, Bobo. Bowie. No, you don't want it? Okay. All right, there's our burgers. Here's our beanie burgers. I will show you guys my bean burgers in a minute. I might have to put some more in there so I can cook them. worked on you, dude. I'll be right back, y'all. I will get you some. I didn't know what you wanted on it. You might want to taste it without first. Just saying. I will be right there, peoples. I'm going to put barbecue sauce on mine for sure. Actually, I'll put it on the side of the plate. This, my friends, is a bean burger. That's a bean burger. Yummy, yummy. I will be right back when I get my stuff to stick on top of it. Slice up my onion. Come on. Okay, I'm back. I got my bean burgers. Oh, I didn't have diverticulitis. I didn't have that. I got tested for it and I didn't have it. Onions to go on top. And then my barbecue sauce. Tomatoes. And of course, the top piece of the bread. Tomato seed on my computer. Okay, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for the warning, though, but I didn't have diverticulitis. I'm very glad I didn't, because I've read about it, and it did not sound like a fun experience at all. But I'm good. No diverticulitis here. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a mukbang, I guess, but I don't want to eat, like, right in your face, so I'm going to kind of go off to the side. Very good. Tasty. Tasty, tasty. Have to say, bean burgers are pretty yummy. Anyway, so what's going on with all of you guys? Anything exciting happening in your life? I'm eating sugar-free barbecue sauce, and it's really good, but it's spicy. Definitely not a hamburger, but it's good. That sounds good, Andrea. And unfortunately, my Instant Pot broke. Finally, the pot didn't, but you plug it in and nothing happens. I'm gonna get another one of those eventually. But yeah, that sounds really good. Yo Nana's machine. I've heard of those. I would love sorbet. Although I can make sorbet with my magic bullet. Definitely. And I don't put any sugar in it either. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's all I had to say. I just wanted to share about my disillusionment. And at this point, I'm still going to visit that other place where they said they're not celebrating the feasts anymore. And still going to attend the women's group at the other church. And tomorrow, we're still going to the small church. In fact, I'm going to bring my coloring books to color tomorrow, and so that the pastor's kids can also color with me. So that'll be fun. He's picking us up tomorrow. He'll save me some gas, which is good. That's our plan tomorrow. So, anywho, there's 15 people here. Does anybody want to say anything at all? Welcome to my room, Andrea Sanford. I don't think we've met. Welcome. Nope, it's going to be a quiet night, looks like. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with anything about my channel. I've taken down a lot of videos over time for various reasons, but I've been gradually putting them back up again after I go over them and watch and make sure I'm okay with them being back up. But my channel started based on being narcissistically abused and trying to help people that were also abused in that way. And that's pretty much the basis of my channel originally. And I'm hoping to get back into that line of sharing soon. I also sometimes share some workout type stuff and diets, and my channel's kind of a variety of things, I think. And I'm not on here live very often, but I just kind of felt like coming on tonight to say hey and see who popped on and see if I could talk to anybody and share a little bit from my heart of how I'm feeling about some things. And yeah, so that's why I'm here. That's why I popped on tonight. But I am not a regular on here by any means. Not live streaming anyway. Uh-oh. No, Bo. You're not fighting with your brother. Anyway, we are working on getting these two neutered, these two cats, because they're about to tear each other to rivets if we don't. That's my latest endeavor. But right now we're trying to catch up on paying bills, and I'm trying to get another job so that I can catch up on paying bills. So yeah, it's been interesting around here. Two angry male, unneutered cats, and just trying to better our situation, I guess. All right. I guess that's it. I guess I can go. You guys have a great night. It was good to see some new faces in here and new names, apparently. And be blessed, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Shalom.